comes over here, he does the rolling strangle, finishes on the buttocks, and then he shifts right over to a juji. It's a little double trouble action. You know, if you can't strangle him, you can arm lock him. But the focus we're doing here is we're finishing in control. When you finish your rolling strangles, the key thing is you want to, when you roll him, you want to roll and finish in control of the movement. You want to be the guy in charge so you can add more pressure to the strangle. And also, if it just doesn't quite work right, you can quickly switch over to another technique. But you're in a seated position. You're not rolling over and bearing his weight. You don't want him to have all his weight on you. So let's take a look at the right way to do it, and I'll show you the wrong way to do it. Derek will show you here in a second. So what Derek's going to do, he's going to do a rolling kata hajime, single wing strangle. And as he rolls him over, he comes over. And now everybody come over here and finish. Look at how he finished. He rolled Jake over, and Derek is on his buttocks. Now, in this case, to show here, he doesn't have leg or arm or what. He's just showing you this. He can have that, but he's on his buttocks, and look, he can apply that strangle quite well there. But let's say something went awry and it just didn't work. He's a tough guy, got a big neck, whatever. Well, he can quickly shift over to a Jujigatami. And there we go, okay? So do it in entirety. Do the roll, finish on the butt, finish the strangle, then finish the Juji. So he comes over here, he does the rolling strangle, finishes on the buttocks, and then he shifts right over to a Juji. It's a little double trouble action. You know, if you can't strangle him, you can arm lock him. But the focus we're doing here is we're finishing in control. Now I'm going to have Derek do it the wrong way, where he lands on his side and Jake's weight is on Derek. Derek's taking all of Jake's weight like that. Now you may be able to choke him from here, and that may work. I'm sure it's happened before. I'm sure it has, but it's not as strong as if he finished on his buttocks in an up position. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, let's finish the roll. Go ahead. Now do it the right way one more time. So you want to finish on your buttocks, and that's how you land. It's how you land. It's like an airplane. You want to land safely. There you go. It's on the buttocks. Okay. So that's it. You have anything there?
Yeah. So think of it like a shoulder roll. One of the things that Coach used to always tell me when I was first learning it was that it's kind of a kamikaze sort of move. You know, you really have to go for it. You don't want to try and take his back and put your hooks in. It's not really the point. If you want to choke him out halfway through, you have to have the centrifugal force of your body going over. So once you're coming through, it's 90 degrees, you step over, and then you just dip your shoulder. So as you're going over, you should be making a plus sign with him. He's one side, you're the other side. So as soon as this hooks over the shoulder, and then you roll up. And this should be very similar to your hip hook foot in a head roll Jujigatami. You don't have to necessarily hook it, but it should be around the midsection because that's going to help you during that shoulder roll really push him over. Okay? And then as far as the hands go, as soon as you're rolling, you're pulling. Okay? So as soon as I'm coming over, this arm's up, I'm pulling, and somewhere about halfway through, you should get that tap. And I'll do it.
He was using the back of his hand on the back of his head.
Yeah. Like that.
Like you're slicing something.
Yeah. It's the one time you can actually do a judo chop.
There's a judo chop. There we go.
Okay, so as we're coming through, okay, so you should get that like before, before you land.
Yeah, you want to have him gagging on the way over. Now, start from like you mentioned. This is a good point, guys. Let's add to this. Start like get your hooks in where you were not able to roll in. So what Derek doesn't want you to do, in this particular case, to get this move, he doesn't want you to come here and get your hooks in like that, because now, did you see the difference what he did? Let's look at that again. Instead of starting like perpendicular sideways, like you said, kind of an L shape, he started long ways on Jake. And he doesn't want to do that in this move.
Okay, so we're coming through, I put a hook in, I put another hook in, I'm feeling great, I've got his back, he puts all of his weight on me, and he grabs my arm. Okay, and again, there's things that you can do to actually finish from here, but it's a heck of a lot harder. Okay?
You don't want to end up there unless you have to.
Don't rodeo ride them.
Yeah.
Don't rodeo ride.
It's not necessarily a follow-up to a back take that failed. Which it's possible to do it that way. It's a continuous transition into that choke. Okay? Make sense?
Yeah, one more time. So watch how he comes to the side. It's an angle. It's a really smooth. You're staying round, okay? He finishes on his butt. It's a good stable base.
One of the biggest mistakes most of you make when you're first doing that is, see where his other leg is at? It's outside behind his head. It's not underneath him. So many times the beginners will end up with there, and then it's harder for them to finish the choke. Okay. And they get stuck there.
It belongs behind the shoulder blades, not behind the kidneys.
And I even put mine on the ground and kind of push into their head to add more to the choke. Like that.
All right. So you can push into it more. You can loop through. You can cross over. Okay. There's lots of fun stuff that you can do with that if this foot is free. So that's a really good point.
But it's all predicated on ending up in a stable position. You always want to be in a stable position when you grapple, or standing.
If you do find you mess up and you land like this, just kick your foot free and then continue and finish. Okay?
Make sense to everybody? When you finish your rolling strangles, the key thing is you want to, when you roll him, you want to roll and finish in control of the movement. You want to be the guy in charge, so you can add more pressure to the strangle. And also, if it just doesn't quite work right, you can quickly switch over to another technique.
Okay, so as we're coming through, okay.
He's on his buttocks, and look, he can apply that strangle quite well there. But let's say something went awry and it just didn't work. He's a tough guy, got a big neck, whatever. Well, he can quickly shift over to a Jujitsu. And there we go.